Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the GDO Show for this week. I think I'll start saying the dates. It's November 9th, Friday, November 9th. And yeah, um, the show might end up being a short one. It might not. It depends on how many anecdotes are thrown in along with the regular programming that I talk about. Yeah. This week on the show, I'm going to be going over this picture that was floating on Twitter a long time. It was like kind of a number. Someone says a number, they want something for you to say, and then you just say it, right? So, I mean, it's really interesting. I never bothered tweeting it out because I don't like doing stuff like this, but I thought it would be a really nice topic for the show this week. So, I'm going to go through the list going from number 1 to number 56. I will be skipping a few just because of the nature of some of them. I don't want to answer a couple, but I haven't actually figured that out. So we are going to just have a look-see, and we'll figure out what's going on with that. So without further ado, um, let's start the show. It's the GDO Show. Okay, so again, we got the quiet intro again, but that's just because I mean, I just don't have a louder version. So, yeah. Okay, so already went over what we're gonna go with the show. Let me just close a few of my windows here, just so we got everything all up and good. And my actually didn't make notes today, so my splits are basically what I'm talking about, just because that's how it is. Hey, Atticus, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. I guess to start off, part of the intro, if you're watching this on Twitch, welcome to the stream. Um, garage door opener, as usual. If you're watching on YouTube, whatever day you're watching this on, hey. This is currently Friday, but I usually upload these on Saturday, and then, I mean, the videos are up there for however long in the future. If you'd like to see the show live and you're watching from YouTube, I stream every Friday at 5 p.m. PST on twitch.tv. So check it out and enjoy. So, usually the first split I always start off with is called This Past Week, and it's where I talk about stuff that's been going on this week, you know, just catching up, what I've been playing, stuff like that. I haven't really done anything this past week at all. I've gone to work, I've come home, and I've watched Twitch. I haven't done much streaming. Every Sunday, I do a Ocarina of Time randomizer race with fellow members of the Symmetry Squad Twitch team. But aside from that, I haven't really done anything. Yesterday, I streamed 3/4 of a race of Banjo-Tooie with Secret Humor Man, but we didn't end up finishing that. And then I just haven't had much time or motivation to stream at all. I've been watching a lot of people play games, and I've been playing Tui. I just haven't been streaming it. So it's just one of those things that's like not a whole lot's been going on this last week. Um, so yeah, it's just yeah. I don't really have much more to say about that. I'm trying to think of anything else that's been going on. Um, I went to the mall the other day. I went to the mall with a friend, and that was kind of fun. I had Starbucks for the first time in a long time. And I'm not a coffee drinker. Like, most people would be able to tell you I'm not a coffee drinker, so um, I had like a caramel macchiato from Starbucks. And those are real good because I'm sure they're more milk than coffee, but it's, you know, like coffee and then it's got caramel and it's got this and that. Very good. But yeah, that's it. Not much to talk about this past week. Oh yeah, I guess earlier on this week I did get an emote on Twitch commissioned from Emre from I that's her Twitch name. I can't remember what her Twitter name is. Let me look this up just to plug a little bit. And of course, Twitch is not searching. Here we go. It's mrayquaza on Twitter. So, like Rayquaza, the Pokemon. Rayquaza, like EM Ray RAW or RAYQUAZA. Very, very good artist. I like her art, and so I asked her to make an emote for me, and she did, and it looks absolutely beautiful. If anyone's in Twitch to see it, there it is. I just posted it. If not, you can probably figure out what it is. It's it's like a Jam Jars emote, except he's like laughing. So I don't know. It's a meme face, but I had it customized to look like you know, Banjo character. So that's pretty much all to say about this past week. So that's about it. Now, what was I doing today? Today I woke up early at like 8:30. And normally when I don't work, I always wake up super early or super late, like at noon or 1 p.m. because I'm just lazy, right? And I'm usually up until 1 a.m. and then I wake up for work at 6 a.m. So I usually don't get a lot of sleep. So on my days off, I like sleeping in. Last night same thing. I went to bed at like 1:30. But this morning, it's my day off, I woke up at 8:30 and I started doing stuff on my phone and I was like, you know what? I'm not tired anymore, so I'm going to get up. So I got up and I went to the fridge and grabbed some poke for breakfast. Everyone who listens to me talk knows that I love poke. It's good stuff. And I went and turned on Twitch, and Chess Network was streaming. And Jerry, who runs Chess Network, he's a really good person to listen to on Twitch. Just like nice, calming voice. He knows a lot about chess, and he talks through all the moves and stuff. So I have him followed. And I saw he was streaming a Chess World Championship. And I remember a couple months ago, people were talking about another challenge that was happening, and well, going to happen. And I went to the Twitch page, and sure enough, he was casting a match between the #1 player in the world, Magnus Carlsen. He was playing the #2 in the world, I believe he's American, an American named Fabiano Caruana, and it was game one of their match. So for the next like month, there's going to be chess matches happening between the two of them. Today was game 1, and I believe game 2 is happening tomorrow. Today's game was about 7 hours long, and it ended in a draw. So definitely a misplay from Carlsen right in the middle. But I mean, it's the chess level that they play at is just beyond my comprehension. Like I know like literally nothing about chess compared to these like people who are like this good at the game, right? So that's something that's going to be going on for the next little while. If you want to follow any of the stuff, or if you're really interested in high-level chess play, you can just search up Chess World Championship 2018 on Google, and you'll get press, media, everything covering the whole thing. So yeah, Carlsen versus Caruana is definitely the boxing match that's going on right now, and it's really hype. Like when you're watching the game and you just like see something unexpected happen, you're just like, it's just, you know, like mind-blowingly like complex the steps these players need to think at. Like I can't say anything more than that. Just if you like chess, watch the championship, and I mean, just do it. And if you don't like chess, I mean, that's just how it goes. So another thing that's been going on this week is I've been working a lot. I work mostly... Sorry, I had to brush my hair out of my way of my earphones. Uncomfortable. I need to get a haircut really bad. But anyway, I do a lot of working at the early week. Usually my work week is from Sunday to Wednesday, and then I sometimes have Thursday, Friday off, and then sometimes I work Saturdays. But so usually it's like Saturday to Wednesday. But most of the time I have Saturday off now. It's just kind of an on-call day. So I have a lot of free time when I'm not working, and usually I'm off work by 3 o'clock. And you'd think that'd be like, great, you know, you work from like 6 o'clock to like 3 o'clock, and then you have the entire evening to stream. That's great. And it's great and all, but I don't do that. Like, half the time I'm feeling worn out, and I just want to sit back, and I just want to watch streams, and I just want to talk with people, and it's just not productive. So I've have a couple coworkers who have started working for currying. So I decided to jump on that bandwagon too. So I mean, there's a lot of different ones. I mean, if you follow Haginator, you'll know that Uber Eats is a regular vocabulary word in that dictionary. Over here, it's popular, but it's definitely not as popular as it is in the East or the States. Over here, a more popular food currying is called skip the dishes, and I've actually fully applied to pick up skip the dishes stuff, and just kind of put in availabilities around based when I'm not working my other job, just kind of to kill some of the evenings. Like, so instead of just sitting around, I'm forced to like get out of my house and like, you know, go make a couple extra bucks kind of thing. So with that in mind, I don't know, I just don't know if that's going to make me stream more or less, because already I don't stream that often as it is, because, you know, like when I work a bunch, it just like I feel really shitty, and then when I feel shitty I don't want to stream, and then not you know, not streaming makes me feel worse, and then it's just kind of like a spiraling feeling. So I decided to start doing this just to kind of like get myself more up and out. And I mean, I know like it's basically I'm like an independent person in the job. Like I decide when I pick my shifts and stuff like that, and decide when I work. But you still have to like what's the word? You still have to commit to that. And so I'm trying to be positive about it, but at the same time, I don't know how that's going to affect how I stream. So that's just what I'm saying right now. Whether or not it's positive in the long run or negative in the long run, I don't know. But either way, it's some extra money in my pocket. So, I mean, in the end, I can't complain about that. But I mean, after a long day of working, if I have to work again, then it's just like, why do I have to do this again? And if it's like that, then I mean, it's something I can just stop doing. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm definitely into this with like, I'm definitely into this with a positive attitude. Just, I really don't know how it's going to affect my streaming. So if you want to see me stream Banjo-Tooie or this and that, I mean, I already don't do that as much as I want to. So we'll find out just how it goes. So that's pretty much all there is to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this list. I don't have anything else to talk about unless anyone was going to ask me about anything, if anyone's in the chat. But if not, I'm just going to go ahead and start with this. So there's 56 questions on this list, and I thought there were 57, obviously, when I made my list here. I don't know why I thought there were 57. So I'm going to just go ahead and start. I'm just going to go through the list one at a time, and I'll read every heading, and then after that, if I decide that I'm not going to answer something, I will just go ahead and say something. I haven't really thought about this list before I started my show today, so some of them I may not have answers for, and if I can't think of anything to answer for it, I may have to skip it, but that's boring and I would rather not. So I may have to talk my way through a couple of these looking forward, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are pretty straightforward questions. So number one, sexual orientation. This is an easy one. I'm straight, 100%. I'm very comfortable with that, and so when you're comfortable about your sexual orientation, it's really easy to act in a way that makes other people confused to that, because it's like if you act in like a gay way towards someone, but you're completely comfortable that you're straight, I mean, I feel like there could be mixed signals going on there, but at the same time, it's like whatever. So, sexual orientation, definitely straight. Oops. I'm trying to zoom in on this thing here. Okay, number two, what I'm really bad at. What I'm really bad at. I'm really bad at estimating distance and really bad at estimating time. So if I'm looking at something, I can't tell how big or how far it is just by looking at it. Like if I look from here to my wall, I'd be like, it looks like it's about 12 feet from here to my wall. But I mean, in reality, it could be a lot longer or a lot shorter. Like I don't have any real concept on like how far away that wall is. Same with time. If someone said, "Hey, how long would it take you to drive here?" or something like that. I mean, I know how fast I drive. I know how far it is. As we were just talking about. I know where it is, but I could not tell you. If anyone says, you know, how long would it take me to do this? Like, I would probably give a wrong answer. The only exception I can give to this is when I'm speedrunning. If I give an estimate on how long it would take to do something, I would give myself the benefit of the doubt that I know what I'm talking about. And usually it'll be about correct. Like if I know how much time I'm gonna lose on the split because of if I knew how much time that I was gonna lose on a split because of mistakes and stuff like that, I'm usually really good at estimating how much time that is. But then again, I guess that's just from experience. Number three, celebrity. Let's just let's just curb the language. Celebrity I'd have sex with. Like definitely Taylor Swift, 100%. Number four, best first date. Best first date is best first date is a really hard question for me because I really dislike dating. So for me, a best first date would probably just be like I'd be like hanging out with someone as a friend. Like a long walk would be good. Maybe, I don't know, if you were into the same things, like a long walk, maybe a Pokemon Go walk or like a walk around someplace that looks really nice. Like in where I live, there's a lot of like places in front of the water. So, I mean, a lot of those look nice, like in front of the lakes and the ocean. Like at the breakwater or like the inner harbor, there's a lot of pretty lights, and that's where the Parliament buildings are as well. So it just looks really nice to walk around those areas. And then, I don't know, like I said, there's a lot of lakes and stuff. It's very, very pretty around here. There's a lot of trees, a lot of nature, stuff like that. And then, I don't know, after that, just like someplace that's like really good to eat. That sounds like pretty good to me. Description of my self-esteem. Number 5, description of my self-esteem. I think my self-esteem is pretty average, to be honest. Like, I don't think very self, like it's aight. I mean, that's the only real answer I can give to that. Like, I wouldn't say my self-esteem is overly positive or overly negative. But I mean, that also depends on how I'm feeling too. Like, whenever I do these shows, I'm happy to do this show. I love doing it, so I'm usually in a good mood. But say like if I was doing nothing, bored out of my skull, playing a game, then I probably would give a different answer, have a bit of more of a negative outlook on it. I'm gonna skip number 6 and number 9. Number 6 is best friend's name, and number 9 is description of my best friend. I'm just gonna skip those ones because it's a big open book. Like, I couldn't choose a single person to like choose as a best friend. I have a few people in mind when I think of best friend, and I mean, one of them I know in real life, like in my who I've known for like years, but I don't know if I'd really call him a best friend. And then I've got several friends who live across the country and in America as well that I've definitely shared a lot with. But again, I don't know if I'd call them my best friend. I have one person in particular in mind who I talk to on Discord all the time. But if any of them are watching or listening to this, then it's up to you to guess who it is. But if but I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything, and I'm not gonna give any description because obviously that would give anything away. So number 7, favorite book. I don't know if I could pick a favorite book as like my favorite book. Um, my favorite, I've two books in mind when I think of favorite book, and I couldn't really choose between the two. One of them is part of the Tales of Redwall series, and it's called Loam Hedge. Um, when I was a kid, there was a cartoon on TV called Matameo of Redwall, and I mean it's based on the book, the part of the series, A Tale of Redwall, Matameo. And then there's Redwall, which was the original cartoon series, and it was also, I think it was the original book as well. It was before all the prequel books. So Matameo was one of the books, and it's a direct sequel to the original Redwall, featuring the son of Matthias, Matameo. So hundreds of years later, after that series, it goes back to the original place they went to there, and it's just a really cool book. Like, I really like all the characters in the book, and it has a very sad end, as most of the Tales of Redwall books do. But I mean, definitely one of my favorites. The other favorite book is I can't remember the exact name of the book. It's part of the Silverwing story of books, written by Kenneth Opel. It's Sunwing. Sunwing, the second book in the series. The first book is Silverwing, and then the second book, Sunwing, is the prequel. And then Firewing is the third book in the series, and that features the son of Shade and Marina from the original two books. But the villain in the book, it's basically it's a story about bats, Sunwing and Silverwing. It's a story about bats, and the villain vampire bat Goth is just like probably one of my favorite like villains. And I mean, I know it's weird to say because he's a bat, but I mean, he's really smart and cunning, and he's just like, I don't know, he's just like a really cool character. So I don't know, I like villains in stories, like that's just one of my things. So yeah, Goth, Silver Sunwing. Okay, number 8, biggest turnoffs. That's another interesting one too. I can't really think of anything. Like, I guess like I guess one turnoff I could say is like over sass. Like I know like people can be sassy, but when it's overdone and it's like just sassy to be sassy, I guess yeah, it's just not good. Um Too much makeup is another one. Like I mean, I know like, you know, girls can wear or females can wear whatever makeup they want. Like it's I mean, and males too. Like can wear as much makeup as you want, but when it becomes like too thick, I don't know, it's just a turn off for me. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion on that, but that's just how it is for me. Um, Number 9 we're skipping. I already said that. Number 10, favorite animal. Um, Favorite animal has to be a cat. Not every kind of cat though. I don't know any breeds of cat. Like there's certain cats that have like really flat noses and stuff like that, and cats that just have like really ugly faces, and cats that have like they're just like either really skinny or hairless or whatever. I don't know. I just like the normal picture of a cat is like probably like my favorite animal to look at. Just kind of like curled up or whatever. I'm not necessarily talking about favorite pet, but I mean when it comes to favorite animal, like it's really hard to think of like a favorite animal when there's so many. Like I mean I know a lot of people could say whatever like frog or I mean I'm sure very few people have a favorite animal as a frog, but I mean then you have other things like I'm sure I can think of one person who would say otter, and another person who would say bear or giraffe or something like that. Or one of my good friends I went to high school, his favorite animal was a narwhal, or not a narwhal, it's like those weird whales. See what happens when I type in weird whale on Google. I can't think of what it's called. It's like a whale, but it's not. Like a whale, but not. It's like uh I'm trying to think of a word. Like what am I thinking of? Sea cow, I think. Manatee. Manatee. His favorite animal is a manatee because just the way they look. And I mean manatees are so cute. Like they have like these big like whiskery like rounded noses and stuff like that, and yeah, I don't know. I knew it would come up if I thought of the right word, the right slang for it, right? And sea cow was exactly what I was looking for, but yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I'd have to say favorite animal is 100% a cat, just because of, I don't know, I just love kitties. Someone I miss. Definitely a friend of mine who lives in Halifax, streams on twitch.tv/luxuriouslady, or number 12, reason behind my last breakup. Um, there wasn't, there just wasn't any caring between, like, eventually we just, like, looked at each other and were like, why are we still dating? Number 13, what I did yesterday. Um, Yesterday was Thursday, so I slept in until like 2 o'clock or 2:30 my time because I worked until 6 or 5 a.m. and then I went to my computer and played a bunch of Hearthstone, and then I did the first 2.5 hours of Banjo-Tooie race with SHM, Secret Humor Man. And then I played more Hearthstone, and that was all I did yesterday. Definitely a nice day off. Number 14, greatest achievements. I guess all my greatest achievements that I've done are all speedrunning. I remember when I first started, I was just doing it as a hobby because I thought speedrunning was kind of cool. And Banjo-Tooie was one of those games that I was just like, you know what, it would be really fun to play? I'm going to play some Banjo-Tooie. So I turned it on and played it, and I didn't really expect it to get anywhere. But, I mean, now I have either third place or fourth place in most of the categories on the leaderboard. And I had world record in any percent for less than a day. When the route changed, I just like did runs until I got a better time than world record, even though it hadn't improved the time yet. So it was kind of sleazy, but it was really funny. And I wouldn't say that's a great achievement, but it was kind of good for me just because it was pushing the time that I could get down real good. Like, I was almost at my sum of best before the route change. And then after it changed, I almost got like within a couple seconds of my sum of best again. So it was a pretty good achievement. I think my best achievement though was actually getting a run into Summer Games Done Quick 2018 though. Being able to do a run at the marathon was a completely different experience than just attending the marathon in itself. And I thought it was really cool to represent the game and community, even though like after the run was over I had like literally nothing to say because I was just like, what do I do? What do I say? Like, am I supposed to shout out people? Am I supposed to do this or that? I don't know. I was just like, okay, there's the run, bye. So I was kind of put on the spot. Number 15, description of who I dislike the most. That's a very good one. But I don't know who I would dislike the most out of all the people I know. There's a lot of people who I don't enjoy talking to in real life here, and there's a lot of people who I dislike talking to on Twitch, but I just don't know. Like, I don't dislike a lot of people because, I mean, most people who I like just straight up instantly dislike, they're just like people who are like being trolls and stuff on Twitch. And I mean, even then, like, that's not even that big of a deal for me because, I mean, once they're banned, like, I don't know who they are. So, I mean, I wouldn't remember any of the usernames or, like, anything like that. So, I really can't answer this question based on all of that. I mean, yeah, I just can't. Like, I don't know who I would put forward in a description. I wouldn't say their name out loud even if I did know who it was, but I would definitely give a very vague description of them. Number 16, favorite songs. Well, currently my favorite song of all time is one of the songs that I played before the show today, and if you're watching on YouTube, you wouldn't have heard that because YouTube has some copyright stuff to stop. So, but if you were here during the pre-show on Twitch, which is just me basically getting all my windows and notes all set up and grabbing some water, one of my favorite songs of all time is "The Edge of the World" by Dragon Force. It's definitely super up there. Most of my favorite songs are Dragon Force songs, but I would only say Dragon Force for one of them because picking multiple songs by the same band is kind of eh. Sweet Victory. I don't actually remember who sings that. Everyone knows it from SpongeBob, but I have it written down here somewhere. Sweet Victory by David Glenn Aisley. What's another favorite song looking down the thing? Taylor Swift is one of my favorite artists too, as depicted by number 3 on this list, of course. But I love a lot of Taylor Swift songs too, and if I had to pick a Taylor Swift song, it would probably be probably Shake It Off. I really like that one. Shake It Off has a really good music video too. Who Are You by The Who. Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who is probably better though. Just trying to scroll through my music list, trying to pick out stuff. I can't think of a lot. Oh, the Devil Went Down to Georgia version that was in Guitar Hero 3. I don't know who sings that, but the Guitar Hero 3 version of Devil Went Down to Georgia is definitely one of my favorite songs. Brain Power is another one. Brain Power is good to listen to. I know it's a big meme, but I love it. Those are like probably at the very top. I mean, I love all sorts of music, and I mean, it's really hard to pick like just a couple favorite songs, but there's a lot of remixes that I really like too, that were like done by different artists and stuff like that. But let's see, what else do we have here? See if I can pick another 2 or 3. One of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure opening themes, The End of the World, is probably up there too. Wow Wow by Neil Cicierega. That's a remix of Will Smith's Wild Wild West, but it's good. Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. I think I've spent enough time on that. Those are like, that's a good like branch of a bunch of my favorite songs. But then you got like Am I Evil by Metallica, and that's like definitely in my top 5. I just didn't think of it. So I don't know. There's more. There's more that I didn't say, but I would have to give a harder look. Number 17, How My Last Kiss Went Down. I mean, what more can I say other than, great. I used to go over to a friend's place and just to watch really bad movies with Netflix, and I mean, you know, one thing leads to the next with Netflix and chill. That's all I can say about that. Number 18, What I Find Attractive in the Preferred Sex. Wearing glasses is a number one thing on the priority list there. I mean, not saying it's required or anything, but it's definitely one of the most attractive things I find in someone that wear glasses. I find long hair more attractive than short hair as well. So it jumps from number 18 straight to number 20, so I guess that was 1 to 19. Alright, number 20, favorite ice cream flavor, strawberry. Just straight strawberry. My parents used to always get annoyed with me when I was a kid because we always got Neapolitan ice cream, but I used to hate chocolate ice cream, so I would just like scoop the strawberry and leave the vanilla and chocolate. My mom always got mad at me for that. Number 21, Where I Want to Be Right Now. It's a good question too. I don't know where I'd want to be right now. Probably bowling at Leland Lanes in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Number 22, the worst thing someone has said to me. That is... I don't know if I'll be able to think of anything for that one, because people usually don't say anything bad to me. Like, I find myself a very middle ground person. Like, I'm never the first chosen for anything, but I'm never the last chosen for anything either. And on top of that, it's like, I don't really say anything to, like, get myself directly in the middle of drama. So people don't really have a chance to be angry at me. Like, they can get angry with me if I'm doing something from the sideline, like just kind of not minding my own business, but I'm never like directly in the crossfire for anything, including in real life. Like I just don't poke the bear when it comes to that. So I don't really think I can answer that. Like I don't know what the worst thing someone said to me. Number 23, places I've lived. Well, I've lived in Victoria all my life. So that's all I've ever lived. I've stayed places, but I've never actually lived anywhere else. I'll love you if number 24. I'll love you if dot dot dot. Um, I'll love you if you bring me chicken nuggets. Buy me chicken nuggets and I'll love you forever. That's how it goes. I also love you if you like mushrooms on pizza. A lot of people I know don't like mushrooms on pizza, and when they're being picky, it's like, just eat it. Anything tastes good on a pizza. But, I don't know. Some people like mushrooms, some people don't like mushrooms. So, it's just how it do. 25, future plans. I don't have any future plans, really. I just kind of live in the now. I don't really plan for the future or anything like that. It's terrible, but I know it's just how it is. I work, I come home, I do whatever, and then I just kind of move on. Number 26, an internal conflict I have. Definitely one of the bigger internal conflicts that I have with myself is, excuse me. One of the internal conflicts that I have with myself is usually about how I'm feeling all the time. Like, I mean, living with like an evolving depression is like, some days you wake up and you feel good, and then other days you wake up and you feel don't. You feel not. And so it's like one of the internal conflicts I always have with myself is like, do I want to actually like actively work on fixing this, or do I not? I know that most people, when they notice they have problems, they go out and they try to do things to fix them. Like, if something is making you feel a certain way, why would you keep doing it? But I'm very opposite when it comes to that, and I know it's an unhealthy thing to admit, but I'm really not in any sort of mindset to ever change things that are going wrong in my life. Like, if I see something happening to me that I don't like, I usually just kind of let it coast out. And I know that's not a very mature way to look at problems like that, but it's just the way it is. It's something that I always like want to fix, but I just don't. And so that's probably the eternal internal struggle. Number 27, what I'm doing tomorrow. Probably recovering from a hangover, to be perfectly honest. I don't really have anything planned to do tomorrow, except I don't really have anything planned to do tomorrow except wake up and just play video games. So the next day, I know that the next day I'm going to be working, but then after that it's probably nothing. I don't do a whole lot when I don't work, so who knows what I'll do tomorrow. 28. What I want to be when I grow up. Well, I'm already grown up, and I'm not really doing anything now, so I guess I haven't figured that out yet. I've always enjoyed the concept of delivery and online delivery, so that's why I like working in online shopping like how I do. It's fun. I love it, but I don't know if that's what I want to be when I grow up. Number 29, most embarrassing moment. I don't really get myself into a lot of situations where I find myself super embarrassed. I mean, obviously, there's the, like, when you're standing up in front of a class and you make a mistake. There's that. and then, everyone's looking at you and you're just like, what am I supposed to do? Um, I can't really think of anything other than that. Like, I don't know. I usually just kind of chill by the sidelines. Number 32, insecurities. Um, One thing I'm really insecure about, but not really. Like, it's something that I think about occasionally, but it's not that big of a deal, but it's still there as an insecurity. Is ever since I was in high school, I've always parted my hair the exact same way. Like, ever since I was like in grade 9 or something like that. Before, when I was in elementary school, I used like hair gels and mousse and whatever because I like, make my hair out the same way. But then one day I just stopped caring about all that and I started always parting my hair the exact same way. And I always part my hair the same way, but my hairline is starting to recede in a way now that it's starting to get harder to part it that way without looking bad. And so every time I part my hair, I always think like, oh man, one day I'm just gonna get caught looking at this thinking like, man, this is so stupid looking. Like, I need to change the way I part my hair. But I never do. So that's just one thing that's always thinking about for me that I'm a little insecure about is like how my hair looks. Which is why like every time I get out of the shower and I like comb my hair and then I let it dry for a little bit, then I comb it again, it looks all poofy and stuff, and I really like that. It's like my favorite way to have my hair. But I don't shower every single day, so usually every 2 days. Another insecurity. Um, I don't know. I'm usually really insecure about how I think people take on the things that I do. I know I didn't word that very well, but I'm one to jump on the bandwagon a lot, and I just don't know how that jives with other people. I mean, I know it's something that's like, who cares what other people think what you do, her. And I know I always think that when I do things, because, I'm not the center of attention. But it's just like when I just want to do something and then everyone else starts doing something else and I just gotta be a part of that. And then eventually when it fades off, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about it either anymore. It's like, I don't know if I'm just like following the crowd or like bandwagoning myself, but I don't know. It's just something that I'm a little insecure about sometimes. If I won the lottery, depends on how big a lottery. If it was like a small loan lottery of $1 million, I could imagine just kind of like, just see. I'm not very creative. Like, if I won a lot of money, I would probably buy something that only could be bought with like a lot of money. Like, I don't know. I might buy like a new car or something like that, but I mean, maybe not because the one I have still works. But I mean, I would definitely pass a lot of it off to friends, I feel. Um, Help out some student debt, whatever. I don't really know what I'd spend money on because all I do is just sit out and play video games all day, so I don't know. I'd probably eat out a lot more. Or I'd probably buy my own apartment if I won a lottery. If I won a really big lottery, now we're not talking $1 million, we're talking like $100 million or something like that, or like $50 million. Definitely speed mansion. Definitely buy a speed house, fill it full of speed friends, get the best internet, and I think that'd be cool. Description of my crush. I'm gonna leave that one aside as well because there's not a whole lot of people I could describe with that one, and I never really crush on one person, so Um, Favorite thing about myself. Um, hmm. Favorite thing about myself is a really hard question because I can always like pick a lot of things that I don't like about myself, but picking something that I do like about myself is obviously like should be easy, but really isn't. I guess my favorite thing about myself is that I feel like I'm very thorough when I do things. Like, before I start doing anything, I always make sure that I'm like super prepared for like any worst case scenarios that might happen. I mean, that's something I also don't like about myself because, I'm not like a live in the moment kind of person. So like when you get started and like you can't really go through with things like jumping into the blue like that. So, I don't know. It's just something I like about myself, just so I'm always prepared just in case. I'm very paranoid about like, what if this happens, what if that happens kind of thing, which is why I don't like doing things myself. But I mean, when I do, it's just like, all right, so like everything will be fine. It's one of the reasons why I don't like traveling alone, like traveling abroad, because first off, I don't really care to travel places alone. And second, if something happened, well, what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that? What if I can't find this and that? So, that's just how I feel about that. Number 34, pet peeves. Um, Number one is people that chew with their mouth. People that chew with their mouth open. It's definitely the number one pet peeve if I had to pick one. Um, I know I have a friend who, if you asked her what her pet peeve is, she would say, like, using the word pet peeve is a pet peeve. And I mean, just because it sounds dumb or something like that. But it's like, it's the perfect word, right? Everyone knows what it means, no matter how dumb it is. Um, can't really think of like any pet peeves that would like that I can think of. I mean, I know obviously when you're around it, you can obviously think of the things that you hate because you hear someone do something and you're like, "Man, I hate that. I hate that so much." But then when you're on the spot thinking about it, all of a sudden you can't think of those things, right? But number one obviously people chewing with their mouth open. I could think of that day and night in my sleep. Number 35, bands I've seen live. I've only seen 3 shows live. I've seen stand-up comedians live, but I've only ever seen 3 bands live. I saw ZZ Top live in 2013. They did a show here. Um, I saw Tom Cochrane live do a show in Surrey a couple years ago on Canada Day. And then the same year I saw Tom Cochrane, I saw Trooper do a show here as well. And Trooper and Tom Cochrane are both Canadian bands, but they were really good shows. The ZZ Top show is probably my favorite one, though. There are a lot of shows I'd love to go see if I could, but I mean, I don't really even know what bands are together anymore or not. I would love to see Metallica do a show, and I would love to see Dragon Force do a show as well. I think a Dragon Force show would be really hot because, like I said, most of my favorite songs are all Dragon Force shows. Thank you for the raid, PG. For those of y'all joining the stream, this is the GDO show. Sorry to interrupt the flow of the show. Those of you watching on YouTube, and hello Emre. I shouted you out at the beginning of the show. Thank you again for the commission you worked up. GDO couch. You guys have missed all the about half of the, or 2/3 of the questions on the current show here. So follow my YouTube if you wanna catch the beginning of it, because I'm sure the VOD on Twitch will be mostly muted because I played some music before the show. So anyway, ZZ Top, Tom Cochran, and Trooper. Those are the only shows I've ever seen. Those are the only shows I've ever seen live. Again, I would love to see Metallica. I would love to see Dragon Force. I would love to see AC/DC do a show as well. And then, like I said, other bands. I don't know, like Rush. Dragon Force was lit. Yeah, one of my friends last summer. I don't remember if it was last summer. He lives in Ontario, and he got a selfie with Herman Lee at the after party, because they all went to a pub to do an after party, and he was like, and he went along, and he was like, "Ah, dude, I'm so good to meet you," and he was like, "Well, let's drink together then." So they all like got super drunk together, and he got like a bunch of selfies. People used to say they were bad live. I've heard Dragon Force does really good live shows now, but they used to be a little questionable. I don't know any other bands I'd like to see live. Again, I don't even know which bands are like still alive or together anymore. I would like to see Megadeth live. I think Megadeth would have a really good show, but again, and I would have loved to see Queen live as well, but all right. Moving on from this one, number 36 or 30, number 36. Kids in the future, how many? That's a question that's like, I don't know if I can answer that myself. Like, it's like, I don't know, just depends. Alright, have a good night, Speedcore. Right now I'm in the point where I don't know if I would like kids, but I mean I kind of would. I'm kind of in that period of my life where I'm thinking about that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Again, I haven't put a whole lot of thought into that. Right now the answer is no, but you never know. Number 37. My idea of a perfect date. I think I gave this description before when I said best first date. Like, my idea of a perfect date. Like, I don't know, walking around somewhere in nature, like, just somewhere where there's like a stream or a creek or something like that, and there's tons of those over here, or water or something like that, because I love looking at water. Like, I'm not a big fan of looking at like small rivers and creeks and stuff like that, but I love looking at lakes and oceans. It's just like, it's like when I'm at a beach. When I'm at a beach, I can stare at like a campfire and just like gaze into thought and just appreciate where I'm at. Like, when I went to Hawaii last December, I remember sitting on the beach the second day we were there. I was sitting on the beach thinking like, man, it's like so hot and it's December. How does this even happen? But I was sitting on the beach, and it was like one of the best sunsets like I'd ever seen, and it was just like, I was just sitting on the beach. I was eating gelato or something like that, and I was just sitting there thinking like, man, I am so relaxed. And I just like was just looking at the water. Doing that with someone, and then like, I don't know, like like I said earlier, playing Pokemon Go on the way there and on the way back, and then going out to eat something really good, something really greasy would be really good. And then of course it skips straight from 37 to 39. So I don't know why it doesn't like numbers divided by 19, but it doesn't seem to. So I'm gonna split there, and now we're on the home stretch. We only got another 39 to 56 left. Number 39, most traumatic experience. Most traumatic experience is really hard for me to describe because I've never been through anything super traumatic. Like, I remember someone was saying to me a long time ago, like, do you remember, like, yesterday? And I was like, yeah, I remember what I did yesterday. It was like, okay. And then they said, do you remember what happened 3 days ago? And I was like, I can't really remember 3 days ago. And then they were like, do you remember what happened on 9/11? And I was like, I remember exactly everything that happened on 9/11. And I was like, and they were using that as an example to say like, well, that's traumatic. Like, I mean, you can remember exactly why something happened for good and bad reasons. But trauma is one of those things that makes you remember things for a really long time. And I mean, they were using that to prove a point for something else. But I mean, they used that as an example. And I remember thinking about that long and hard, and I thought like, was 9/11 really that traumatic for me? Because back then it was like, oh, this happened on the other side of the country, in another country, like I'm so far away from this, why is this affecting me? And that was my initial thought to it was, wow, I can't believe this is happening. Like I remember waking up early before school, and it was like 7 in the morning or something like that, like 7:30 in the morning. And they were showing this on TV, and it was all over the news. I remember like coming out of my bedroom getting ready for school, and my parents were like watching TV in the living room because I guess they heard something on the radio, so they turned on CNN or whatever. And it was showing the video footage that they had of what was going on there and all the debris and stuff like that, and they showed like the planes hitting the towers and stuff like that. And it was really, I guess it was really traumatic seeing, because I'd never experienced something like that before. Like, I mean, obviously people talk about, war this, war that. But I mean, and this happened in like the 16th century in Europe or whatever. But I mean, at the time of 9/11, I was still very young. I was only in the ninth grade. Or maybe it was the 8th grade. I don't remember how old I was when it happened. 2001, so it was September 2001, so I would have been 12 at the time. Yeah, I was 12, so I would have been in grade 8. And yeah, just starting grade 8. And I remember going to school that day, and that was literally what everybody was talking about. And like every single person in the school was talking about it. And I mean, at the time I was just like talking about it with them, like, wow, like, oh. But then eventually I thought, like, does this really affect me? Like, it took like a couple days, but I was like, why is this important for me? This didn't happen to me. I know nobody who was affected. Why is this happening? So I kind of brushed it off. But then I started hearing radio, and the radio was talking about it. And all of a sudden we had the war on terror happen. And I always like listened to the programs and the news about what was happening in Afghanistan and Osama bin Laden and stuff like that. And I remember hearing about it, but I don't know. I guess it affected me a lot more than I thought back then because I remember hearing every show and I remember like following the stuff really closely even though I was like, only like in 8th or ninth grade. It was just like what's going to happen kind of thing. Like is the world going to go to war again kind of thing? So, I don't know. I know it didn't happen directly to me. It's not direct experience, but I would have to say the most traumatic thing I can think of happening to me was witnessing 9/11 secondhand. Well, third hand, I guess. I don't really know. I didn't see it happen, but I saw the results of it. Number 40, where I would like to live. I would really like to live anywhere in America because I really, really enjoy where I live now, but almost 100% of the friends that I talk to all the time live in America and can move wherever they want within America because they are citizens of America. And because I can't immigrate to America and live there, I can only visit. And that really sucks. I would love to be able to have the opportunity to move in with someone from underneath the border. But I can't do that. And so that's probably one of the places I would like to live. Number 41, the nicest thing said to me. Same thing with the worst thing someone said to me. I couldn't think of something that I would pick as the worst or nicest thing anyone said to me. I don't have a great memory, as I'm sure of most of you who know me very well. I mean, I know a lot of people came with PG's raid, but I mean, for those of you that know me personally, I don't have a very good memory. I could not tell you things that happened 3 hours ago very well, or I could not tell you something that someone said to me anytime. I can maybe remember, but not very well. So if someone said something really good to me or something really bad to me, unless it was like really traumatic or like really life-changing, I doubt I would ever remember it. Which is, I guess, one of the things I don't like about myself. Like, which I couldn't answer that clearly earlier, but it's definitely the way it is. Number 42, do I like where I am now? Yes and no. I like where I am right now in terms of stability. Like, I live someplace that's nice. Like, my landlords are really nice and stuff. I like the area that I live in. I like the city that I live in. I like where I am financially. I make enough money to kind of afford whatever I want. Obviously, I can't spend money like it's going out of style, but I mean, I can live comfortably, basically. But I don't know if I like that because I'm living for stability, not to get ahead. And that's one of the things that I don't know if I feel so comfortable about right now. But it's, I don't know. I kind of live in the moment, so it's kind of bad. Number 43, what can I hear right now? So, what can I hear right now? Let's see. I can hear my laptop fan. I'm kind of tapping my feet on the ground, so I can hear that. I'm very bad at sitting still. Usually I have to move my legs or tap my feet or something like that, or drum my fingers to music. And I can hear my landlord's 3-year-old walking around upstairs. My roof is very, very soundproof. Like I can very rarely hear noise that comes from above the ceiling. But their little child has elephant feet, unfortunately, and I can hear those vibrations sometimes. And I think that's all I can hear, other than the glug of my water bottle from the drink I'm about to take. Number 44. Relationship with siblings. I only have one sibling, my sister, my younger sister. I feel like we have a good relationship that we can kind of talk about whatever. Obviously, we talk about games a lot because that's one of the things that I like to talk about, and I know she's into some games. But I feel like my relationship with my sister is a little bit strained as well, because I'm one of those people that has kind of a dwindling relationship with my parents a little bit, and my sister still lives at home, and she kind of sees the effect that has on them. So I feel like it's gonna fall apart one day, but I have absolutely no idea how she feels about that. But that's something that I'm gonna cross when I get there. Number 47, I'm gonna cross this one now. I'm skipping 45 and 46 just because this is part of the same thing. Relationship with parents. My relationship with my parents is not as good as I would like it to be. My parents absolutely have absolutely no problems. If someone asked them, what is your relationship with your son, they would probably say 100% okay. But as over the years, I just don't have anything interesting to talk to my parents about with. Like, my parents definitely aren't into video games at all. They're not into anything I find fun kind of thing. And that's understandable because I mean they didn't super grow up with that. But I just don't like making small talk with people, and I don't like talking about things that are going on in my life with anyone. And when that's all that there is to talk about with my parents, I have nothing to talk about. It's just, so what's been going on? Nothing, because I do nothing. How's life? Oh, nothing's changed. And that's literally the end of the conversation. So, whenever that happens, I always feel like I just want to be somewhere else. And that translates into I don't want to be around my parents. So that's just the hard part of dealing with that. But I'm sure I can hopefully turn that around eventually. It also doesn't help with the way that I feel as well. Just kind of I always feel guilty about it too. So it's I don't know. You just never know. Number 45, biggest worry. Now, I was talking about being paranoid about stuff earlier. Biggest worry. Biggest worry is a real interesting one. I guess my biggest worry, if I had to pick something to be worried about over anything else, would be that nobody would like me at all, because I'm a very social person. Like, taking my mind off of life a little bit is eased by like just chatting with people, whether I'm streaming or whether I'm just talking on whatever forum or like Discord or whatnot. So having there suddenly be nobody would probably be my biggest worry. Like if all of a sudden everything just kind of went away. I feel like I feel like that would be definitely my darkest timeline. I mean, I'm sure there would be ways to like get around that, and I mean, life without technology or the internet would probably be slightly better, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, you get used to the way things are, right? I'm definitely a slave of I'm definitely a slave of to routine. So so you never know. Um, Number 46, something I'm waiting for. AGDQ, definitely. I mean, that sounds pretty obvious, waiting for AGDQ, but it's definitely one of the times of the year I look forward to the most. Get to see all my friends again, get to party with them, get to do fun little races and stuff like that. It's definitely a good time. um, Can't really think of anything else directly I can say that I'm just waiting for. I don't really wait for things. I just kind of live and, things happen, things don't. So I don't really expect anything. Alright, this one's really small. Number 48. Something I should have said a long time ago. That's another good one. Something I should have said a long time ago. I mean, I could point this at someone, but I really don't want to. Like, as in, like, something I should have said to someone a long time ago. I feel that would be a little on the rude side, though. Uh, I don't know if I can think of anything to say that one. I feel like if I had something that I should have said a long time ago, it would be I quit to Banjo-Tooie. I quit. I give it all up. I give. The game has defeated me. But, I don't know. I just have a lot of fun running the game and being in the community, so definitely keeping my foot in the door on that one is not something I should have said a long time ago. Number 49, the last text message received. I don't actually know. I don't receive a whole lot of text messages because I do a lot of my messaging on platforms like Twitch or Facebook and Twitter. Let's open up my texts and see what the last text I got was that wasn't from a robot. The last text I got was from my landlord telling me that he resetted the router. The last text message sent. I don't actually know if it shows. I mean, I guess it would be the reply I sent to that text. Unless it counts like Facebook, but that would be it. Number 51, what I hate most about myself. Um, I I don't actually know. I guess the thing that I hate most about myself, and this is an internal thing that I was talking about before, is that I don't feel I have much control over how I'm going to feel on a certain day. So it makes it really hard to plan things out a long time in advance. Like, say I plan to do something social one day. That's fine, but then 3 days later, when it comes time to go out and do it, I just feel like crap. And probably that unreliability with like how I feel is probably what I hate about myself. Number 52, biggest turn-ons. Sub 3 in Banjo-Tooie. Any percent, no DCW. Sorry, not sub 3 anymore. Sub 255. Sub 255 and no DCW. Big turn-on. Huge turn. Nah. To be serious, girls with glasses is a big turn-on. Not that that's all that there needs to be. There's definitely cases where that's not true. And red hair. Two biggest things probably. Number 53, words that upset me. Words that upset me. I mean, there's a couple choice words I can think of that upset me for various reasons. I'm trying really hard to think of at least one because I don't want to skip any of these last ones. But it's like I don't know. I don't know what to say for this. I guess one of the things that I really hate hearing, and I know that it's a small thing, but like everyone knows it, is when a woman calls one of their guy friends buddy or pal or friend or something like that, and it's like, I know I'm just a friend, but you don't need to say that kind of thing. Like, I know it's a little thing. It's a really little thing, but it's something that I really hate because, you hear it and your ear twinges with it and you're just like, okay, like, is this necessary? Exactly, Mumbo Token. Not attracted to you, by the way. I know I'm being friendly, but still not attracted, by the way. And it's like, okay, I know. Like, but when you hear that, I don't know. It just makes me mad when I hear it because, like, because that's like the subtext. Even though they're probably not thinking it, it's just something. It's just something that it's used to being said, right? So that's probably one of the words that upset me the most when used in that context. I mean, it's at least by anyone, yes, Blastoise, but I mean, I'm talking specifically about the context that I'm talking about there. I mean, at least, like, if you're gonna fill that word in the sentence, like, at least just use my name, like still, like. Like, being directly called either buddy or friend is just like, okay, unless you're being called someone friend by someone who's talking to you, like they're calling you like, haha, friend. Like they're being facetious almost. Um, see, what other kind of words upset me? I can't really think of anything else directly that other than like, the usual culprits. Like I mean there are words that, make people feel uncomfortable, like moist or stuff like that, but I don't know, I don't care about any of that. None of that upsets me or feels weird. One of my coworkers hates the word moist though. I know that for sure. Number 54. What I hate most about school. Um, well, there's got to be some reason why I hated school, why I dropped out. Probably, I don't know. The thing I didn't like about going to school was that I just like, I mean, this has nothing to do about school, it's more about me, but I just stopped caring. Like, unless I had a class that was full of like other classmates that helped engage me in what I was doing, like loved to study and like did fun stuff, like I couldn't just go to school and like just learn because I wanted to know the material or learn because I had to take this class to get a degree. Like when I was in classes, I would learn and then I would just like go home from school and I would instantly just stop caring. And that was more of a me thing, but I don't know. Probably the thing I hate about most school was that it didn't engage me as much. I don't really have anything more to say about that. Like, I mean, it's hard to find a reason to hate school. Like, I guess I guess the thing I hated most about school that's a legitimate reason is that my school was a really long way away from where I lived. So I had to bus to school every day. And one way it was an hour and I had to transfer, and then it was an hour on the way back. And sometimes it was an hour and 20 minutes if the bus was late or something like that. So that was really dumb about going to school. This isn't a question on here, but what I liked most about school was a friend of mine got off his classes at the same time I did every Thursday. And at my university's campus pub, they do wing nights and karaoke on Thursday nights. And so at 4 o'clock, when we were both done our classes, we'd go to the bar, or go to the pub, and we'd go to the pub and grab some wings, because they were 50-cent wings. And then, well, they were 45-cent wings for a while, but then they upped it to 50 when they realized they could do that. So we'd get a pitcher of beer each, get a Caesar each, and then eat like 30 wings, and then we just sit and chat for like 3 hours while just drinking and eating, and eventually like we'd stick around for the karaoke. We never ever sang, but it was funny listening to it some nights. That was the thing I liked most about school, was getting off class and going to the pub. Yeah, I mean, long commutes are, I mean, you lose motivation because you just don't care anymore about that. But for me, like, I like the long commutes too, because in the mornings I had to catch the bus at 7 a.m. and I was at school by 8:20. And, like, I could just have a nap because the first ride was, like, almost 40 minutes long. And I always kind of woke up around where I had to get off. And if I missed my stop, well, the bus kept going all the way downtown, and I could just catch the same bus that I would have taken to the university on the transfer, except just further down. That's all. Number 55, what I'm wearing. Well, what I'm wearing is pretty standard. I wear this every night. every day when I'm at home, and you guys would see that if I stream. I'm wearing a t-shirt, just a standard old t-shirt, some flannel sleep pants, and I'm wearing slippers. And I'm wearing socks too because I had to go out earlier to get pizza, so when I never bothered taking my socks off when I slipped on my slippers. I like wearing slippers though, they keep my feet nice and warm. And I turned the heat up in my room earlier, so it's really hot in here, so I'll probably end up turning it off when I get up after the show's done. But, yeah. So that's what I'm wearing. Other than that, I'm not wearing anything else under it. And 56, the last thing I ate is I went out to go grab pizza. And I went out to grab 2 new kinds of pizzas that I usually never have. Let me quickly look up the kind of pizzas that I had because I don't remember everything that was on them. So I had 2 pizzas. One of them is called the Canadian Special, and the other one was called the Ranch Chicken. So on the Canadian Special, I mean, if you're familiar with Canadian pizza, it's got the same old stuff on it. Probably not, since I'm sure a lot of you all are American. I don't know if you guys have Canadian pizza. But on a Canadian pizza, there's usually pepperoni, mushrooms, ham, and bacon. And then this one also had green peppers and black olives on it. So pepperoni, ham, bacon, mushroom, olive, green pepper, black olive. Delicious. And then the other one I ordered, which I never do this because I'm sure I could talk about pizza ingredients, but I'm not a big fan of chicken on pizza. But I decided to branch off and have chicken on pizza today. So I got one called the Ranch Chicken Pizza, and it's got just chicken on it, like little cubes of chicken. And then it's got bacon, tomatoes, onion, and then it's like, instead of tomato sauce, it has like ranch on the crust instead. And that was the last thing I ate today. And it was so delicious. I had a lot of slices of it. So, yeah. So that's it for the list. That's the whole list. I went and talked about everything on the list except for a few. I didn't talk about a couple things just because of the content matter of them, but hey, I got through most of them. So, I didn't really have anything to discuss on the show anymore this week, unless anyone in chat had any questions about anything I talked about tonight. And then I guess we'll be done until next week. Let me just wrap this up while I find a song to play during the outro, which you won't hear if you're on YouTube. So, if you'd like to hashtag continue the conversation, you can always tune in next week to my show at 5 p.m. PST on twitch.tv/GarageDoorOpener. That's GARAGEDOOROPENER if you're watching from YouTube. If you're watching from Twitch and you missed the show or want to watch it again, I upload all my shows to youtube.com/GarageDoorOpener with a 0. It's GARAGEDOOR0PENER, because Garage Door with an opener was taken at the time. Who would have guessed? So that's it for this week's show. Nothing more to discuss. Next week's show, I don't know if I have anything to talk about yet. There's a couple things I'd like to talk about. Pretty much, it might just be things that I've seen on Twitter, but I would like to get another bit of a story discussion. I don't like keeping my talks too subjective because I mean, like, if you're talking about something super specific, a lot of people who don't really care about it probably wouldn't ever want to consider watching something like that. But I mean, I did the shows on breakfast, and I mean, if you really hate breakfast, then you wouldn't have watched it anyway. But unless something happens on Twitter that I'd like to talk about, or I think of something that is in my brain at the time, and this could happen for any week. Next week, I'm going to start a short series where I'm talking about One Piece. I'm really big into anime and manga, and One Piece is my favorite of them all. The series is very long right now, and there's been a lot of things that have just been happening right now in the series that have been really crazy. So I might start talking about the series section by section for the next couple of GDO shows. Give my take on character development, character growth, characters in general, kind of thing. And obviously, if you're not into the series, you probably wouldn't get a whole lot out of it. But it's just something I could talk about for a long time. If other people down the line are interested in talking about it with me, I might have guests on the show, but who knows? I might just keep it to myself. But other than that, I would probably be starting off at the beginning and going forward. So next week on the GDO show, unless plans change, I'll probably be talking about the beginning of the anime character development as the series starts, how the characters used to be compared to how they are now, and just how I feel about the first 3 or 4 arcs of the series, about Romance Dawn until all the characters come together for the initial crew of the pirate ship. So that's it for the GDO show this week. I hope you guys have a good week. I don't know if I'm going to be back again later tonight streaming, but I may. I really don't know what's going on, but if I'm not, that's it for this week's show. Thank you all for enjoying the show, and see you next week, 5 p.m. PST at twitch.tv/GarageDoorOpener.